Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Orme, and today we are back playing more Franchise Hockey Manager 6. Where we left off, we'd done the Kessel deal, bringing in Zegras and Kessel and a few bits as well. We ended up getting rid of Kessel for a third-round pick. We gave up a Noonan, a 3-star goaltending prospect, as well as a bunch of other stuff to get rid of Kessel to Arizona. I believe they might have traded him and then he's retired. As far as I'm aware, he is now done. What else we got? Well, some more depth, a couple of young goalies, a young winger, young defenseman to the Vegas Golden Knights. That was enough for a second. Trading's a lot better on this version than it was on previous. It still can be unrealistic because some of the players who you'd expect to be untradeable really aren't. If you're willing to give up value, then you can get almost anybody, which is a touch unrealistic, I will admit that much, but it's realistic in terms of value. It's just a lot of players just won't say no to moves like they probably would. Even a non-movement clause, I mean, it's a list of teams that they will allow themselves to sort of be traded to, and a list of teams they won't. So, yeah, it's not perfectly accurate, but it's really well implemented the way it is. And like I say, the big impact of it for me is you can't just really go in and get like the top 5 picks every year. Like, they will not trade picks if they think they're going to be like top 5, maybe top 10 this year. They will not do it. They flat out refuse to even begin to consider it. Even if you were to give up like 10 first-round picks, doesn't matter. They've got a top 5, top 10 pick. They don't want to trade it. At the draft, things might change. Then they might be willing to trade something. But during the season, no. So, yeah, that's something I wanted to test. And I did go a bit heavy on it. Again, a couple of other prospects. Saigon and Berzan, decent, sort of probably third-line center prospects. Mutala, there's another pick back there as a goalie. We got a second and third out of Tampa Bay from that. A second-round pick from Calgary. Barron's, okay. I don't know why they liked him, but I could have got a third-round pick for some reason for Barron on his own from them. I really don't know why. If we jump into Barron, he's even fallen off even further. He used to be a 2-star player and, 2-star potential player. They really liked him. And they really, really liked him. But okay. So yeah, we could have got a third for him. Calgary were the only ones that were willing to give a third. So I don't know. We gave up a bunch of picks to them to upgrade that into a second. And then a first round for Werner, who's a decent backup goalie. Dickerson. Francis has potential to be a good sort of starting defenseman. Kamenev has potential to be a good sort of second-line center. So, again, surprised at the value I'm getting back on a couple of these deals. Like that first, that second. Being able to get a third in there, I really don't know why, but again, I think it was Saigon and Berzan they wanted. So, if you do right-click on a player and then you offer them out, you get a list of teams that are interested. And then you can use that either for the deals that they offer or just write a little list down of teams that you now know are interested and could trade. So, third round pick. See, I don't know how I can get a second round for this lot. And then I give up Shivryov, who I think is a solid sort of third-line, fourth-line center. Anderson and Lindholm, who are, bottom pair defensemen. And Calle Rosen, who's probably, a top 4 defenseman. I think I'm giving up a lot more here than I was in this deal, personally. A lot more depth, but I could only get a third. I could not get a second. I tried. If you're persistent, you get good deals. Like, these took me about an hour each to do. But I thought it was worth it for the picks. This one took me about 2 hours because I was trying to find a way to get it into a second. I could have picked almost anyone for a third. Buffalo just had a bad season, and I was after one of their prospects, but I couldn't land a third and a prospect. I took the third round pick because prospects I was picking up elsewhere. Second and a third from Canadian for Gillies, who is a decent possible starting goalie. AJ Greer is, man of many skills up front. He can play anywhere. And then we just threw in the fourth round picks to basically, I was going to get 2 third round picks with a single fourth. And for some reason, throwing in 2 fourths, I was able to just creep up over and get that second instead. And these are all picks that are split over 3 years, by the way. They're not all up front. We're not like dominating any one draft. It's getting depth across the team, getting a bunch of young prospects, and making sure over the next 3 drafts we're able to do that as well. We also then went into free agency and signed Cal Clifford and Charlie Coyle because I wanted a better second line. I felt that season 1, we lacked the depth that in real life we've got, but it doesn't translate on the game because then, Donskoy, Burakovsky, Kadri, the game sees them as like third line players because that's what they've most recently been. Even someone like Bellemare, not really highly rated, whereas he's shown that when he gets an opportunity, he can do big things. So I went in and got Charlie Coyle, Cal Clifford, extra depth there. And then for Zadina, who the Red Wings don't really like for some reason, Nick Henry's more of a direct replacement, a little bit worse, and then stacked out the fourth round picks because I had too many picks at that point. And again, probably my value is to pick up 4 fourth rounders, and then I could trade 2 of those plus Nick Henry for someone like Zadina and still have 2 more players I could probably convert into 2 third round picks. And that might be the strategy. But I felt it was gaming the system a little bit, so I went all in on Zadina, someone I like. And that really was to open up another trade that I could do later on. But I decided not to pull the trigger on it, and that was to get rid of Tyson Jost for a couple of first-round picks, by including some like third and second-round picks in there to skew it. But I couldn't quite get that the way I wanted it, and like I say, the teams I wanted to trade for a first-rounder from, in general, are teams like Ottawa, Vegas after the horrendous season they just had. I want the top 5 picks. There's one guy coming up in the draft I really, really want. It's a goaltender. And I know I'm going to have to be early. But, yeah. It was a bit strange, really, to have all these plans of trading Tyson Jost and then not being able to get that done. And then again, a third-round pick with JT Comfort. Really like him. Another sort of Swiss Army knife up top. Shelton Drees, good third, fourth line centre. Quite a defensive player, really, for a centre. Doesn't offer a lot going forward, so probably a perfect fourth line centre. Comfort adds probably second line potential to Detroit, which is pretty much how they rated Zadina. So I could see why they would do this deal. They get a couple of sort of low line players in Drees and Henry, sort of third, fourth liners. Comfort kind of replaces Zadina, a little bit less quality, but still second, third line, which is where they see both those players. They gain 5 picks for Albin Grew, who's got tons of potential, but they've already got some good draft picks, so they can replace Grew with their draft picks and then just flood with depth. So I think it made sense for them. Kula, we just drafted him, and yeah. Oh, I don't know, I've traded for better defensive prospects, basically, and I've signed some better defenders, so it wasn't really that interesting to me. And we got Blackwood. Blackwood's a very, very good goalie prospect. Again, Devils didn't really rate him highly. So 3/3, a first, on their side, and we swap the rights for Kula and Blackwood. I was pretty happy with that. We signed Blackwood, he came back in for us, and Ingram went into the AHL. And then the internationals came up, and we had to sign a ton of people. So Johansson, Nemesnikov, Goodrow, Harmonic, Brown, Edmondson. Not too great, really. A couple of them sort of kept around. Sonny Milano from waivers, he looked quite decent. He turned out not to be. And that's it, really. Quite a lot there. It's taken us about 10 minutes to go through our actual transactions. This is now our prospect pool after the season. So it looks like Johnson's dipped down from 3 to 2.5 stars. Samuelson, though, has moved up to 4 stars. Stutzel's come down to 4 stars, but that's okay. If he holds there, I'll be very happy. I believe Newhook's now down. Roche, I think, is up to 4 stars. Grew has dropped down from 4 to 3.5. So that's what I mean, that I think they thought he was very replaceable. But I like him. I think that's well-rounded sort of player there. And like I say, 2.5 stars. That's a second, third line player at some point. So we'll see exactly how we can get that, get him in the team and Coyle in the team next season for depth. Roche and Zigras are on deck. Hellison, Johnson. So we're seeing that progression of youth into the first team. Sonny Milano, like I say, I think he was a 3-star when I picked him up. And yeah, he's dropped off. So only a waiver claim. He can now go back out. I don't really mind. The roster we've ended with them is Holtby and Blackwood. Very, very good pairing. I'm actually hoping to trade Blackwood at the draft as well. If we're not one of those top sort of 8 picks, I don't think the goalie I want's going to be there. So I might trade Blackwood to get that goalie. We got one really good goalie sort of prospect. I think we'll be able to get another one through Blackwood. Holtby will hold his position for a while. He's made a good impact as well. You can see Lindholm, Girard, Bayram is a very, very good left defensive sort of core. McCarr is a great sort of right defenseman right now. Zadorov moved across for depth on the right-hand side. Timmins looks like he's going to be our number 2 right defenseman next season. Harmonic just held on for now. And honestly, he probably, with that contract and the fact that he played better, means we could probably trade Zadorov, whose value is at a highest point. It's been that kills some more salary cap, which is good because we've got some deals to probably do at the end of the year. On the left, you can see here Landeskog holds his 4-star rating. Nichushkin and Carl Clifford are there. Pretty decent, sort of second, third line. Nemesnikov comes in as the 3rd lineup or the 4th lineup, depending on what we do with these guys. I'm really not sure where we're going with Clifford, Nichushkin, or Nemesnikov. Really, they're all pretty much the same player. Clifford's a little bit better, but he's a little bit older. Pinto, though, he's done okay so far. He looks pretty good. So we're going to roll with him and see what else we've got coming through. But at the moment, placeholders really outside of the top line and our depth. Down the middle, McKinnon. Coyle actually went into the 3rd line, but him and Kadri are very, very similar again. And Shane Bowers coming up, doing okay. He's doing okay. So, you know, he'll have a career as a 2nd-line center or a 3rd-line center. Might not be with us long-term. So we've got a lot of good prospects coming through, as you just saw. And then over on the right, it's Rantanen. And it's probably Zadina then, 2nd line. Donskoy on the 3rd. Goodrow at the moment on the 4th line. But Bokage can really start playing there. And he's holding his potential. So I've got to figure out where some of these players are playing. So there is that. Then we look at the cap hit. There's a couple of these which have a cap hit, like Edmondson, I guess, and Brown, who are in the AHL. Kind of ignore all those, really. Kind of ignore Johansson, Milano, and Ty Lewis. They're all out of the club. But Martin Kaut, he can come in. Good depth there. Potential second lineup. Ingram, again, another player we could probably get rid of from our goalie pool if we're able to draft the guy we really want. And then Martin, a decent sort of right defenseman. So if we get rid of Zadorov, he'll slide in right away into that lineup as depth defenseman. So really pretty good. I'm happy with where we are in terms of our numbers and everything, our quality. I'm really, really happy with the center core because we'll call up Grew. We could probably trade Kadri or Coyle. I'm not sure about both. I'm really not sure about both, but we could probably do that. Yeah, Bowers for the fourth line. So McKinnon, Grew, and then see if we think Theo or Zegras could play on that third line. And then Bowers for the fourth line. And still have perhaps Theo and Newhook, let's say, as depth. And that means Kadri and Coyle can then be traded. On this side, like I say, a couple of players might go out. Someone like Goudreau might go out to bring Count in. Milano, Lewis are out. But yeah, one of these three. Nikushkin, Clifford, and Namestikov will be out for Coyle. Hellerson, we can call up. Luke Martin, we can call up. We could probably get rid of Zavorov and Hamonich at this point. Like I say, we can get rid of Blackwood and Ingram and have Askarov as the backup and this young guy we're trying to draft. And have Bednar there as well as a potential backup. Like, I think we're in a really good place. So going into this year's draft, our first and second, Tampa Bay second, Golden Knights second, and our third. At this point in 2022, we've got our first, second, and third. We've also got Montreal's second and Tampa's third. And then in 2023, we've got our first and second, Minnesota's first, Calgary's second. So no depth, but we're picking early enough that we don't need 7 picks. We've got good depth and everything. So, like I say, with some of these trades we're making, we're in a really strong position. Look at the wildcard race. Buffalo, Florida, and Montreal make it through. Philly had a great season. Columbus and Pittsburgh as well, getting through. Maple Leafs and Tampa Bay just sneaking through the playoffs. So, we thought they were a really poor team. They turned out to be a pretty decent team. And so that will not be a lottery pick this year. The Devils, Red Wings just miss out on the playoffs. The worst team in the East is the Islanders. Wish we would have done more deals with them. In the West, San Jose, Edmonton, and LA with us, St. Louis and Winnipeg, Dallas and Anaheim just getting in. Vancouver miss out. The worst team again, though, is the Golden Knights. So doubling down on our prediction about the Golden Knights worked out. In the league, you can see 58 wins, 17 losses, 7 overtime. Hopey makes a big difference. Hampus Lindholm makes a big difference. And the veteran presence across the middle 6 chips in as well. 123 points, President's Trophy. Huge goals for. Kept a lot of goals out as well. Absolutely phenomenal. We didn't end very well. We lost a few towards the end. But yeah, a pretty good season. Into the stats, you can see Ovi is back as top goal scorer with 53. McDavid gets the assist. and Draisaitl with 120 points. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Him and McDavid, they're absolutely bossing things for the Oilers. Ovechkin, touch under 400 shots. Hampus Lindholm, plus minus. Connor Timmins, plus minus. Absolutely phenomenal. McKinnon's there as well. So we're gaining here as well. Landeskog, Rantanen, very, very decent. We still don't take good face-offs or block shots. We're not high on penalty minutes, though, thankfully. Rantanen is there with 17 playoff goals. And we don't really do short-handeds. But McKinnon there, 101 points. Landeskog with 65 assists. McKinnon hits 57. He also puts in 44 goals. So a touch down on last season, but he breaks that 100-point barrier, which is the main thing. Binnington and Hopi, two of the best this season. Lots of wins. You know, absolutely fantastic goals against. They tie on that. They tie on save percentage as well, I believe. On 917. Yeah, just absolutely phenomenal from them. So player stats. See here the goals. McKinnon had 44. Rantanen 38. And then we've got to come down a little bit. But Cale Makar, 31 goals from the back end. His breakout season really helped. Kadri's back to being a 30 goal a season guy on that third line as well. And as we creep on down to 25, there's a few more that surprise me. That really, you know, the Burst only has 22. Shifley had 22. Chuck, Duchesne. I would have expected those to have more. Really. Where is... Oh, there it is. Erik Karlsson, 25. So, a few players there, I think, underperforming this year. Few of ours overperforming. McDavid and Draisaitl working well together. Landeskog coming up big with assists. McKinnon as well. Cale Makar, absolutely phenomenal season out of him. And Rantanen there, 49. Doesn't quite hit the 50 assists. On points, though, as I say, again, it's the top two. And then familiar faces. 101 in only 77 games for McKinnon. Landeskog there, almost breaking 100 as well. Absolutely phenomenal. Rantanen, still over a point a game. But he's the weak man on the top line, it seems, right now. And then Cale Makar, over a point a game as well. So that top line plus Makar, absolutely phenomenal points productions. Power play goals, Gallagher, Marchand. Pretty decent. Rantanen's up there for us. McKinnon down a bit further. Power play points, again, Landy and Rantanen are in the mix, but it's Jack Eichel being great. Short-handed from Sean Couturier. The points for Backstrom, the game winners, coming out of Braden Shen, just ahead of McKinnon. Shot percentages, again, look for someone with high shot totals, and it's Gallagher. He's really, really done well there. 52 goals, 19.3%. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, far and above everybody else. Face-off percentages as well for a center who played a lot of time. Someone like Bergeron, Glendening, Tavares, Jenna. They're about the best. Game rating, best player in the league this season. No surprises for who this is going to be. Oh, look, it's Connor McDavid. It's always Connor McDavid. It's always Connor McDavid. Rarely have I seen anyone pip up above him, and that'll be for one season only. So this is who the game thinks performed the best out of everybody. McDavid, Crosby, Barkov, McKinnon, Petson, Hischier, O'Reilly, and Dubois in the centre. Left defenseman, Chabot is the best with Morgan Riley, Shane Gottespier, Roman Josi, Ekman Larsson, Yandel, Gardner, and then Doughty and Carlson on the right. Rantanen, the only right winger, and Chris Kreider and Brad Marchand are your left wingers who played well. And if we look here at who played 40 games, and jump over to the goalie stats. So you can see the wins. Binnington, slightly better season overall since he shares save percentages and goal against. However, he did play more games. So the fact that he gets more wins, really that goes against him. He played 5 games, only got 2 games more won. Hope he got more shutouts. Much less goals against. But again, the save percentages and goals against average, they're identical. So really pick them. Either Binnington or Hope was the best this season. Carter Hart, really, really solid there as well. We'll be seeing his name a bit later on. Kemper actually gets the best save percentage. The goals against actually does go to these two with Kemper just behind. Team stats. Goals for, 3.88 for the Avalanche. Dallas are high up there. Worst are the Golden Knights. And feel free to pause as we're going along to see your teams. Again, Golden Knights are the worst in the league. The best in the league are shutting down are the Blues, just ahead of the Avalanche. But what a difference it makes bringing in someone like Hampus Lindholm and also bringing in Hope Beast via free agency. That really, really helped us out. Shots, top line, Cale Makar, what can I say? They just peppered the net. Shots against, we really shut down there as well. Our head coaching change really helped on that one as well. Face-off percentage, no longer the worst in the league. McKinnon's improved a little bit, and some of the other players around him have decent ratings. Shot blocks, still the worst in the league. Hits thrown, not quite the worst, but we're fairly sort of low down. Takeaways, top 10. Giveaways, top 10. Injury days, not as good as we were last season, but still pretty good. The Islanders, as bad as they were, they kept their team together. Boston got absolutely decimated. Absolutely decimated. And then onto the team attendance again, capacity use. This is the one I normally look at to see who is the most well supported. The Rangers, the Maple Leafs, the Flyers, and the Canadiens. The worst are the Panthers, Coyotes, and the Hurricanes. We do okay. We do okay. We're not really great, but I mean, 90%. It's solid. It's at least solid. Okay, so we saw a little bit earlier, I was talking about the new coach that we brought in and the new staff. Excellent trainer, a very good skills coach. Pretty damn good offensive coach. Again, good at coaching prospects though. Pronger in as a great defensive coach. And Allaire again in as our goalie coach. We know that he is a difference maker. And Daryl Sutter. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, he's really helped us out as well, be more defensive. So, no disrespect to Bednar, but yeah. I also went out and got a ton of scouts, as you can see. Every single one of them can evaluate potential. The one who isn't at least very good has great ability evaluation. So that means that we can get a little bit more about them. They're also scouting different places. Like I say, we should be pretty good at scouting Europe and pretty good at scouting in Canada for the OHL, the Q, and the W. We've got some rest of worlds there, you can see. We've got some USA, England, Europe at large. So I feel we got good coverage, we got good coaching, we got good scouting. Everything's set up well. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us in the playoffs. We're at home to Mannheim in the first round. Winnipeg at Seattle. The Sharks host the Stars. And the Kings travel up to Edmonton to face off against McDavid and Draisaitl. Tampa Bay and Philly. You got Pittsburgh and Columbus. Buffalo host Toronto. And Florida are at home to the Canadiens. So, I'm going to simulate the week. It'll only take us through to Monday. But that should get us to the playoff games. And then we'll see kind of what we can get done. But, yeah, a good defenseman, a good goalie, providing balance, a good middle six to support that top line. And it's paid dividends with Suter as the head coach. We're in a much better position than we ever were. So there we go. We pick up a win to begin. Donskoy opening up the goal scoring. Sam Steele pulling one back. Nick Ritchie before McKinnon steps up to equalize. And then Philip Zadina in overtime. Anyone particularly play well on either side? We seem to be much more balanced now in defense. McCarr on a 72, Rantanen 73, Nate McKinnon 92. Gibson on a 94, Holtby on a 57. Not really what we want from him. Caps fans be telling me he'll only play well for part of the season. And in real life, he just conceded 3-on-3 against the Avalanche in week 5. Avalanche in real life move to 5 wins out of 5 to open the season. At worst, we'll be 50% when we come back off a 6-game road trip. We've already played that opening game against the Caps of that trip. Yeah, very impressed with real life Colorado right now. Kadri opens up. Eric Johnson against us, short-handed. Landeskog and Nikushkin, though, put in the game to rest nice and early. Sam Girard steps up. And then Adam Henrique before Zadorov gets a goal. And a power play for Gabe Landeskog. Again, none of them really played well. Only Henrique stands out, 81. Lindholm, Byram, they step up in defense. McKinnon was phenomenal and defensively phenomenal as well. That's what impresses me about a player like McKinnon. He very rarely hits 100 in his offense. He very rarely gets over about a 92. But defensively, quite often 96, 98, 100, he's there. Gibson had a bad game. Holtby held his own. And again, we come through. Okay. A little bit of slowdown, but it's a decent 5-3 win. There we go. The main Nordiques. No, thank you. So there we go. Boom, Byram gets the early goal. Comtois gets a goal. Kel McCarr. Boom, Byram. Real defensive showing there in the first. Those two number 4 overall picks. And then, looks like Ricard Raquel, Kez Byram gets the hat trick. And Landeskog late on. Byram there, only a 73. He scored a hat trick, but only a 73. Landy up there with him. Rantanen does really well. And a very balanced and good performance by McKinnon. Pilot, for them, yeah, they're just not getting anything really through their team. Hopi at 47, Gibson 79. So, Hopi played really well in the regular season, but he's not really done anything at all in the playoffs. He's yet to lose us a game. Really, he could have with one or two of his performances, though. So, yeah, that's why I'm looking at new goaltenders. Excuse me, I just had to take a little drink there quickly. And then game 4, whitewash over the Ducks. Through in 4, McKinnon, Landeskog, Charlie Coyle, and Kelsey getting the goal for them. Lindholm, though, great at the back. Byram stepped up. Landeskog appears again. Rantanen appears. And McKinnon again. Very good at both ends of the ice. Brendan Gould, really nice. Hoffenmeyer, again, pretty good for him. So they stepped up at least. Not much else did, though. Hopi this time stood in his head to make sure. And Gibson there. So I'm really not sure what to think about Hopi and the way he's been playing. I really don't know. Yeah, comments in the section below, please, over whether or not you think that he's done all right or not. So I don't know. Like, regular season, I think he's really good. Playoffs, I think he's really slacking. There we go. Looks like we're going to game 7, Sharks and Stars. That'll be the last one of the first round of the playoffs. Let's go. And it's the Stars in San Jose that take game 7. Oh. More scouting reports, but the first game has been done of the second round of playoffs. We've got the Blues, which that's going to be interesting to see what we can do there. 55 wins, 58 wins. Absolutely crazy. But it's a 2-0 win. And it's the boy Shane Pinto. Wow. Really didn't expect much out of him this season. Nothing more than a role player that could grow into something. But yeah. Wow. 2-goal game to open up and get us the win, basically. Yossi and Dunn played well at the back end. O'Reilly had a decent game there, it looks like. Our left defensive core. 72, 72, 70. 72 for McCarr. 71 for Landy. 86 for McKinnon. One of his quietest games so far. But Rantanen stepped up as well. Pinto only a 74. Really hurt him defensively. Good goaltending. Binnington and Hopi kind of match off well against each other again. So, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. So your playoffs are at the moment Avalanche 1-0 up over St. Louis. We got Edmonton and Dallas facing off. Edmonton 1-0 up in that. Columbus take the lead against Philly and the Canadiens over Buffalo. So let's see what we get done here then. Second round. If it goes to a game 7, I will be watching it. But if it doesn't, then we won't. Because time is of the essence. Okay, so Zadorov gets an opening goal. And then Landy gets one. Sanford pulls one back, but it's not enough. Roman Yossi had a good game. O'Reilly had a good game. Shen played okay. That left-hand side, guys. That left-hand side of defense is now so strong. For years, the Avalanche had Eric Johnson, Tyson Barrie, and then coming through last season, Cale Makar on the right-hand side. Left-hand side was weak. It's Sam Girard, and that's it. Now, with Lindholm, Girard, and Byram, now the right side looks weak. Now the right side does look weak. Landy plays well. McKinnon, 79. Not good offensively, but still very responsible defensively. Goodrow, 48. Not really what we want to see. Binnington, Holtby both really played fantastic hockey there again. And right now, I believe we're 6-0 in the playoffs. We are steamrolling teams, not only in the regular season, but here in the playoffs. Can we make it 7 in a row? We cannot. St. Louis Blues come up big. I wonder, is this the first one? Is this the first one that Holtby cost us? Tarasenko on the power play. Tage Thompson gets a goal. Zadina late on, but Braden Shen with that one. Lindholm, not bad. McKinnon played really bad defensively his first time. Rantanen stepped up, but there we go. Roman Yossi with a 90. Dunn plays good. O'Reilly's okay. Holtby with a 70. Not really costing us, but really, really did not help us. There you go. Holtby losing a bit of mental toughness. Theo looking like he's having a good little April there. Zadina as well picking up. Nice little something offense, defense there. You know, that's not bad, guys. That's not bad. Let's go to the next day then and see, can we take a 3-1 lead, or are they going to tie it up? They tie it up. They post a shutout. That's not good. Okay. So Binnington, 47 saves. And yeah, he's been playing really, really well. Again, our defense played fairly well. Offense really didn't do anything, though. McKinnon just couldn't even get going. He was our best offensive player by far. Just couldn't get going. And for them, you know, a couple of defenders played well. Offense didn't really get going. But it comes down to the goalies, and Binnington just about wins that. So, annoying, a Hall of Fame nominee, though. We've got a bunch of players to choose from. Pronger's a staff member. Hatcher, we know, is a good player. Whitney was a good player for Beak. We champion Elias. We do champion Elias here. Keith Tkachuk and Patrick Elias will be the guys who we champion. Are we falling behind in the series? Are we going to win 3-2 here? Now we take the lead back. Dallas, Columbus, I believe Montreal as well. 3-2 leaders. We're all going to go into a game 6. Binnington again comes up big for them. But Carl Clifford, Charlie Coyle, Tarasenko pulls one back. And then Coyle, Harmonich, Vesey, Makar. Lots of penalties in that final third period. Luckily, no goals. Yossi, Ryan O'Reilly for them. Byram, McKinnon for us. McKinnon's cooled. He has cooled off. Hope he played okay. One more to go. One more to go. Let's see. Do we close it out, or are we going to a Game 7? We're all going to a Game 7. Dallas is not. Dallas went to their Game 7. No, they're not. Oh, we're up against a similarly good team with a great goaltender, and ours is not really doing the business. Nick Dowd with a very early goal, 2.5 minutes in. Nothing in the second. Penalties in the third. Lindholm, Byram played well. McKinnon got a return to form. But Roman Josi played well. And again, Binnington just beating out Holtby game after game after game. If we want to win the Stanley Cup, and the goal of this is not only to win one, but to win like 3 in 5 years, become a dynasty, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. Okay. Options. Show games. There we go. So now, if we play this game, set up the AI lines. I don't like Landy as a grinder, I've got to say. But that's how we're setting up. That's how, Suter wants us. There's our power play. There's our penalty kill. And there's the special stuff for the 4-on-4, 3-on-3 shootouts and whatnot. We'll go into this game. Ryan O'Reilly versus Nate McKinnon. Binnington versus Holtby. Oh. We had a very, very, very good season. Short-handed goals against. That was our one weakness. Apart from that, absolutely fantastic. So let's get ready to go. Watching our first game on this. It's a Game 7 in round 2. After dominating the opening sort of few games of this matchup. And, of course, sweeping round 1. Okay. So, looking at the options here on the screen. So, play-by-play. I think we'll go fast. And I'll go fast on clock. We will go all goals, what we actually watch. Everything else will just be like a text thing. And low sound. Game stop just. Okay. So now I believe if we just hit the play button, you can see now what's happening in the game. Here we go. They failed to clear it. It's back. McKinnon on the rebound. Now you see Rantanen, Landeskog, McCann was also involved in this one. But the puck comes out. McKinnon has 2 bites of the cherry. And we open up Game 7 just a few seconds in. Nate McKinnon with the goal. And the way I've got it set up now, we will pause in between each goal. So you're never going to miss anything really important. Looks like a bit of pressure for them. And so these breaks here are showing you what's going on. So for each passes of play, every time there's a stoppage, it's going to show you what, and you can go back up and see. So this is the basic way of looking at it. You'll see when a goal actually comes. It's the style of passing on the rink itself. It's not the most advanced at all, but you do get a good feel of how it all works and where the puck is at all times. So looks like we've done some decent pressure there. And now you can see our game ratings as we move along. You can also change team and look at theirs. And again, it looks like they're fairly close. But I mean, we've probably played a little bit better. And right now, Binnington's not on a good rating. Holtby, a little bit better, still not great. Shots in our favour. But we're definitely the aggressors here in terms of the shots. There we go. We're getting up there and offside. And McKinnon is winning some face-offs. Halfway through the first time, we're taking a 1-0 lead right now. Captain McKinnon. He is captain this year. I believe he just grew in leadership, or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe Landeskog dipped, whatever it was. I believe our third is either Rantanen or Cale Makar. I think it might be Makar, you know. I wonder, does he have... Yeah, I don't want to jump out the game, but I wonder if he's got the A this year. Oh, here we go. Clifford deflects. Shen Hyman on the breakaway. Pulls back the goal. Deflected off a pass from Cale Makar. Comes to Pullman. He might have been the deflector, really. That gives it to Bryn Shen. Zach Hyman with the goal. And we are tied at the end of the first now. 5 minutes left. Can we keep playing well? We seem to be okay. McKinnon is really, you know, much better than everybody else. As you'd probably expect. As you'd probably expect. Final minute approaching of the first period. Shen to Hyman. Here we go. Sam Gerard. Hamanich. And what a goal. Oh, wow. End of the... I didn't click to set it up. It went on its own that time, I feel. But Hamanich with the goal. Philip Zadina picks it up, feeds Gerard, who just gets that puck to Hamanich, and that is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have happen at the end of the first. I was fully prepared for us to be, you know, even going in, but to take the lead, that's always a good thing. So now we've just got to see what happens in the second half here, or second period, I should say. Let's take game stoppages off. That means it'll only stop on a big event, not when the game is stopped, like it has been. So we can speed it up a little bit, but still have the breaks in play for goals, etc. And for penalties, and here we see San Luis Blues, 82% penalty kill. Colorado, 21% on the power play for the year. Ryan O'Reilly high sticking. Can we make this count? Please, boys. Halfway through already. And that's a penalty kill right there. That is a penalty kill. Couple of giveaways, but we managed to get the puck back, it seems. Pinto won a face-off against O'Reilly. That's good. Oh, cheap giving up at the back. Cheap giving up at the back there. We blocked the shot. We can't get it clear. Roman Josi, Zach Hyman, Robert Thomas with the goal. Half the game gone. Game 7. And we are here. 2 apiece. 2 tight. Shots on target for them, though, 9. 29 for us. The goalies, Binnington, playing quite well. Holtby not playing well. If we don't get through this, we know why. It's the goalie. Oh. That sucks. I thought when we picked him up, he'd have a really good goalie for a long time. Seems like he's not going to be where we want him to be. So after 1 year, we're already looking at trading away Hope Beast. Far too inconsistent. Looking for the next great goalie. There is one that possibly will make it through the free agency. We'll take a look at that in the next video and see where we want to go. But yeah, really, that's the big difference between the team. We're a better team. We're a better player, sort of player for player kind of comparison. Roman Yossi's on a 62. We've got Landy on a 63. McKinnon's on a 69. Gerard's on a 63. Bunch of very high sort of 50s on each team. But it's Binnington. It's Binnington. 80.5 for him. 55.5 for Holtby. Not good enough. Just really not good enough. Final period of the series. Game 7. 2 minutes in. Can we make this count? We've been on the power play. We couldn't. McKinnon. Landeskog. Rantanen. Oh, Pareko on the breakaway. Oh, I thought that was going to be for us. Zach Sanford gives it to Colton Pareko, one of my favorite defenders on this game. 17 minutes to get back into this one. 18 shots, 3 goals. That's pitiful. It's 1 in 6. That's absolutely pitiful. Sanford. There we go. Clifford. Zadina. No. We're giving it back to them. Here's Zadorov though. Byram. Barbashev. Yossi. Pareko. Here it is, boys. Maybe. This is a goal because that's all we've stopped for. And there it is. There's Perron. Ah, Pullman to Perron. And 4 in 22 now. Basically makes 5 saves and lets a goal in. Makes 4 saves, lets a goal in. 5 saves, goal. Don't know why that popped up for. But yeah, lots of issues here with Holtby. Binnington's playing well. He's saving 8 or 7 shots per. Literally about half that for Holtby. So, definitely need to make that change in the back. Oh. And again, really? I wish Chrome wouldn't do that. Chrome's not even open right now. That's the weird thing. But okay, Nazem Kadri takes an elbowing penalty. 13 minutes, we need 2 goals just to get to overtime. Come on. Oh, I thought that might be a shorty or something there. Tarasenko. Braden Shen. And now it's all over, guys. Now it's all over. Even with that trading I did, putting us into a really good position, the one thing that's hurt us is goalie play. And again, he's not even saving 4. Now his average is slightly below 4 saves per goal. And this game is done. This game is done. 12 minutes to go. Sim to the end of the game. 5-3. 5-3. Braden Shen got his goal. Of course, yeah, no, that's not what we wanted. That's really not what we wanted. Some decent play. Not really too much. They kind of caught up towards the end, but really it was Holtby. Really it was Holtby. Far, far better goaltending from Binnington. We get knocked out in the first round. We get knocked out in the second round. Gruber wasn't good enough last year. Holtby, not good enough this year. And that's about all I can say there. We need a good goalie. If you look at it, we're number 1 for points and goals. Number 2 on the power play. When tied for 6th in short-handed goals. Number 2 goals against, just 1 less than them. Power play goals against, tied number 6. Penalty kill is number 2. Power play number 7 in the league. Shorties against were quite low. And Braden Holtby just not good enough to carry us through. That sucks. That sucks. But we're out. We are out. Columbus, Buffalo, also make it through to join Dallas. So I guess that means it's going to be Dallas and St. Louis Blues. Let's have a quick look here. So Dallas, St. Louis, Columbus, and Le Buffalo. Oh, well, it's still progress, right? Round 1 to round 2 is progress. Much better season in total. It sucks, though. It sucks. Okay. Let's see who makes it to the finals. So, the Blues take a 1-0 lead. They take a 2-0 now. So do Buffalo. It's a good little advantage to have. Game 3. St. Louis goes 3-0 over Dallas. Columbus pulls the game back. We might have a series there. Fully now expecting the Blues to step into the finals. Oh, we took them as close as we could, but goaltending held us back. But there we go. We tied up in the East, but the West, it seems that St. Louis Blues can't really put them away just yet. We're going to game 5. There we go. That's the week done. I do like to sim a week at a time because it goes Monday to Monday. There you go. St. Louis Blues 4-1. Buffalo retakes the lead with a shutout over the Blue Jackets. So the Blues make it to the Stanley Cup final after knocking us out. But what can we do? Is Columbus going to get there? They pulled it back. An all-action third period there. Series tied at 3 apiece. I still think Buffalo are probably going to get through, but no. An early goal, Columbus there. 2-0 down in the series. Fought their way back to win 4-3. Bit of a late rally there. So, yeah. That means that we have our cup finalists. Columbus at St. Louis Blues. My money's on St. Louis, really. I mean, look at the pathways, though. Pittsburgh in 5. Philly in 7. Buffalo in 7 after that comeback. Pretty decent run for them. St. Louis, though, beat Winnipeg in a rollover. Just completely went over them. And they beat us in 7 after we had basically gone 4 games against Anaheim. So that's very impressive. Only 5 to get past Dallas, who put out a very good Sharks team and a very, very dangerous Edmonton team. We saw what they were capable of with McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line. So the fact that they went down in 5 as well, and the fact that we know Binnington, probably the best goalie in the league in both regular and postseason. Hope he was there with him, but not in the games that mattered in postseason. I think I've got to fancy the Blues here. Let's go forward then. Columbus, though, a big win to open up. They take the lead. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup is 4-2 Columbus. Little bit surprising to me. And they've got, again, an overtime winner. Oh, my God. They could be as many as 4-1 down there. But 3 goals in the third period to tie it. And the overtime winner, a 2-0 lead. It's what they overcame in the last series to get through in 7. And here come the Blues. An overtime winner. A goal apiece. Take the lead in the first, give it back in the second, get the overtime win. 2-1 now. But there's Columbus with a big win over the Blues. Oh my God, it's 3-1. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't. I did not foresee this. I did not foresee this. Now, Nashville did really well last season, won the Cup. Columbus had a good run. Columbus are making the final. They're trying to take that trophy back to the East. The Blues are trying to retain it for the West right now. I just don't know. I don't know. We're so close, but we're not close enough. And, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Every first sort of second day of the month, it might get a little bit sort of bogged down. So, there's a development report. I should have taken a look at that. I should have taken a look at that. And there we go. The Blues pull it back in overtime. This is a really, really, really close series. And here we go. So, the simulation stops on the first a little bit because it's updating for a month. There's a lot of processing that goes on in a month. And then the second day, I've got monthly autosaves. That will be on the second. Looking at the draft, it looks like Luke Hughes was nowhere near where they were going to expect him. Gunther Zerati's there. That's my guy. We've had him in previous. He wasn't very good then. But he's far higher rated now than he was there. Maybe go Josh Vaught with the 4.5 if we can't get the goalie. But yeah, really, that's who I'm targeting. I want Jesper Wallstedt. I want Wallstedt. 6'3", Swedish goalie. Tons of potential. The league seems to think he's a 4-star. Everybody sort of national rankings and international rankings have him at a 5-star. We think he's in the middle of that. He's fairly durable. He's a solid goaltender already. Nothing spectacular. But he's already a 3rd string. He'll get hurt a little bit. But he's got to develop. He's got to develop. He will be an outstanding player. So long term, he could be our guy. And that's what I'm looking at. If not, then like I say, probably Joshua Roy, because again, he's got really good sort of ratings. He's got really good scout report. He's got a big potential. Mental being high at this young age, I think is really good. And if I can take a 17-year-old at the draft, I normally will. So, reminds us a lot of McKinnon. A little bit injury prone, maybe. Hockey senses, though. Love that. Good skating, great there. Clean player. Solid already. And an outstanding player. So, those are my 1 and 2 options for a top 10 pick, if we get one, will be Wallstad, who's rated very highly, and Joshua Roy. And then we go into the Hall of Fame. Again, we championed Elias. We get Sergei Gonchar, Vinny Danfus, and Rob Brindamore. I always try and get these ones here. They've normally been waiting the longest. The newer guys are at the bottom of the list. So I normally try and go down that list. So Gonchar, Danfus, Brindamore, and Elias. That does me. Back into simming for the Stanley Cup Finals. Okay. Next day. And there it is, overtime. But Binnington's boys at the Blues were taking apart. Your Stanley Cup champions, year number 2, your Columbus Blue Jackets. Pittsburgh, Philly, Buffalo, and St. Louis. Did not foresee that one. Did not foresee that one. Blue Jackets have Korpisalo in goals, a 3-star goaltender. Defensemen, their top pairing is Zach Werenski and Seth Jones. Jones is decent, don't get me wrong. Werenski's decent, but not a starter for me. He's a top 4 defenseman at 2.5. They've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Top line of Foligno, Dubois, and Atkinson. Where does this team come from? 87 points in the regular season. Barely more than a point a game. We hit 123. But playoffs, baby. When it counts, they played. And they've got very few weaknesses. They've got very few weaknesses. They don't have a lot of strengths. They have very, very few weaknesses. And oh my God. Congratulations, Columbus. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Well, join me in the next one as we head to the draft to spend some of our draft picks. Maybe try and trade up for Wallstead. Maybe go with War. Maybe get both. Who knows? That would be fantastic. And yeah, just see what will be. But Columbus, where we want to be right now, the top of that mountain, Lord Stanley's Cup over their heads in celebration. We need to get better at goaltender. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, as we say. Until then, y'all take care. I'll see you soon.